Welcome on in to the 411 podcast. What's going on, y'all? Thank you so much to anybody out there. If you're watching, if you're listening, thank you so much for coming through. Appreciate it. Now, before we go ahead and get started, I want to go ahead and give a very special thank you to my executive producer, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for allowing me another opportunity to come out here and give you all the 411 podcast. So we are here doing it again, this four sphere realm of relationships, live from Atlantic City, New Jersey. It has been a challenge, but we end up coming out better on the other end. So it is what it is. As we go through some things, we don't understand why. We don't understand the test in the beginning, but then towards the end, sometimes when you look back, you're like, okay, I get it. Did not understand it when it was happening during this process, during the beginning. But as we go through this journey, as I go through this phase, sometimes I just sit back and I'm like, okay, I understand why. I get it now. I get it today. I want to give a very special thank you to everybody who has supported all across the social media platforms. I am at Laren Gaines on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube, D Live, Twitch, Daily Motion. Now, for the record, I will not be streaming live on Instagram or TikTok for the remaining of this series here. So it's just going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on X, D Live, Twitch, and D Live, Twitch, Daily Motion. Now, as far as clips of the show, that will be reposted on Instagram, and clips of the show will also be reposted on TikTok as well. So a bunch of different content and clips here and there, depending on which platform you decide to check me out on. So let's get on into it. Song of the day, Jealous by Faith Evans. And this is released off of the First Lady album, which came out in 2005. So, of course, track 11, Jealous, that's what we're speaking about. And we're speaking about being jealous in relationships, maybe speaking about somebody being jealous of you in a workplace. Maybe it could be a family member. Maybe you could think back to your life of when you were jealous of something. Maybe something somebody else had. Maybe it was somebody else's significant other that you might have wanted that you thought was for you. But as we go through this journey tonight, as we take it here, and for those of you who have not heard the Faith Evans song, Jealous, I highly recommend you go ahead and check that out. It's basically about her being jealous of anybody that comes across her man in any type of way. So if there's anybody out there that could relate, that had been overtaken by the spirit of jealousy at one point in their life, drop it in the comments, shoot me a text, DM, let me know. But trust and believe that when it comes to being jealous, I have been there before. And we're going to get into it with my friend, Miss Raquel Hernandez, calling from New Jersey, my hometown as well. And she's the business owner of O'Shea Candles. So Miss Raquel Hernandez, when she comes in, we'll ask her about if she had any history with being jealous. So I'm going to talk about jealous, and it's not just about, being in a relationship, being with this person, or I'm jealous of an ex, or a lot of times this jealousy stuff comes very hard in a workplace. And then in some cases, it comes from family members as well. So it's kind of rough when you got all three going on, when you got the 3P going on. You may not have any peace in your relationship because there's some jealousy going on there, which that could be a problem. And then you head on over and you venture into the workplace, and then you find out and you soon discover that maybe somebody in the workplace is jealous of you. And in some cases, it could be your boss. If anybody has had that situation, holla at your boy. And then other than that, the worst part about it is after you deal with stuff in a workplace, then comes to find out that there's people who are this close to you, supposed to be there for you, your ride or die, your family members. Sometimes family members can be the worst culprits of displaying these evil spirits of jealousy. Now, let's talk about why people would be jealous. maybe insecurities. You got to ask yourself the question: have you ever displayed any signs of being jealous of somebody, something, someone? Do you think back to a time in your life that maybe you were insecure, you didn't feel as if you were stepping in the purpose of who you truly are? When you walked into a room, maybe you were unsure about who you really were. How about the fear of losing something? Now, a lot of people can become jealous, maybe through childhood deprivation. Maybe there was lack of something when they were younger, and then as they get into their teenage phase, or maybe they get into their adult phase, they might have a fear of, I didn't have things as a child. Now all of a sudden that I have it as an adult, I don't want to lose it. There can also be some past trauma as well. People who've gone through some traumatic things in the past, again, ties into the fear of maybe this is something that I will lose. Or maybe we might go back to where we came from. Track 11, Jealous. Faith Evans. She's basically going in, talking about it's okay to have friends, but all that extra lovey-dovey hugs and kisses, I don't really like all that, because when I turn my back, it might makes me feel like somebody is out there cheating. So, and she's saying that she's so jealous. She knows it and she can't help it, and she really don't feel like sharing. That's the song of the day. Faith Evans, Jealous, off of the First Lady album, 2005. We're going to get into this. We're going to get into this whole jealousy thing. We ain't done yet. We're just getting started. I'm going to reach out to my friend, Miss Raquel Hernandez, all the way from New Jersey. She has a business called O'Shea Candles, and the conversation with her is just going to be so interesting. So let's see what is going on in her neck of the woods. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing good. What's going on?
Over here watching you while you live stream right now.
Thank you so much. I want to say welcome on in to the 411 podcast. It is on and popping. Yes, it is.
As always.
This topic is so interesting, and it's about being jealous. Song of the day, Faith Evans, Jealous. Now, have you heard the song?
I did. I heard it for the first time this morning. I was prepping for this podcast, and I was just like, oh, yes, I completely concur with what she's saying in certain aspects.
So you can understand where she's coming from as far as being jealous. When you say you can understand where she's coming from, is that because maybe you were at a place before, or you totally 100% agree that, yeah, if I was in those shoes, absolutely not, I might be feeling that way too?
Oh no, it goes both ways for me. Like I've learned that in love relationships and in certain relationships, yeah, you can be jealous.
Why do you think somebody can become jealous or display signs of jealousy? Why do you think that happens?
I think, and honestly, I really think that it's more taught silently than it is going ahead and being displayed. Because it's a learned behavior.
Absolutely.
And it's a learned emotion.
That is absolutely correct. And I'm on point with you with that. I spoke about past traumas. I spoke about, fear of losing something. Usually, people who don't have something. I've seen it so many times. People don't have something as a child. Example, I know, to keep everything private, I know people who have okay, for instance, not have nice clothes and shoes when they were children. So as an adult, please, they the flyest dressed people that I've ever seen. So lack of not having something as a child, then when you get something, you might can sort of get a little bit overboard and yeah, I get that part. But the most important thing that you said was a learned behavior, silently learned behavior. A lot of times, if we are parents, our children learn from us and they learn more from us by watching what we do versus us, teaching them and giving them instruction. How we conduct ourselves and how we move and how we handle our business, that's the most learned behaviors that they pick up on. I think so. I think that's very powerful that you said that. Anything else?
Um, I'm trying to like I mean, it's the learn. Like I said, it's an observation behavior because, of course, just like we just finished discussing, it as a child growing up, you see what displays around in your realm. We're talking about realm, and as a child, your realm is your parent, your extended family. So with that being said, it's more of, all right, well, you see that, I see that Uncle Buck is sitting there with the Flyers outfit on, the Flyers ride, and we just got a little hoopty, and we just getting by with, Walmart brand clothes, and he got Gucci and Louis on, and you're just like, how did he get this, and what is he doing, and I want to know what he's doing. I think it's more of a display behavior and you learn it as you go along in life.
Absolutely. What's going on, Miss SOS? I see you out there. Okay, so now let's rewind this thing. I do apologize. We just started jumping off and talking. Just started talking without going through the full introduction. That happens sometimes. So, Miss Raquel Hernandez, all the way from New Jersey, my hometown, business owner of O'Shea Candles. So, let us know about your business, how it got started, and all of that great stuff.
So I started my business about 5 years ago. And it started off of, as therapy session for me.
Okay.
And it then evolved into a business. And now it's just evolving. It's evolving slowly but surely, but it's getting to the point where it's getting there. As all small businesses evolve, they go through changes and growing pains. And, you tend to be out there just giving it your all.
Last time I spoke to you, I think you had some events that you were doing too. I have seen it on your page as well, that you had a bunch of different events that you were attending.
Yes, I've done a lot of collaborations. I recently just did, back in May, I went ahead and collaborated with a couple of colleagues of mine within the small business world, and we did a murder mystery candle birthday extravaganza, where it was like-minded small businesses that got together, and one was an artist, one was a storyteller, one was a person that does baked goods, one that does charcuterie, one that does actual infused goods as well for health and wellness for yourself. Not everybody's into the cannabis smoking it, but is also into, ingesting it and trying to figure out ways to holistically heal their ailments in many different ways. So,
Now, when you say ingesting it, are you talking about people who make food and stuff with it?
Yes.
That stuff is,
Yes.
listen, I've heard about it, like ketchup and teas and all kinds of stuff. And wow, that's the only thing I have to say is wow. Butter and stuff. Somebody was telling me they were cooking with butter and making pancakes and stuff, and by the halfway they got halfway through it, they didn't even know what they were doing because it was that potent. No, thank you. No, thank you. Y'all can.
Well, I mean, it's not. Again, it's not for everybody. Like, it's not for everybody. But a lot of this particular business, she's more into the holistic side of it. So you have people that suffer from depression, suffer from aches and pains, especially elderly people that don't want to be on medication and don't want to go ahead and do all of that. So there's other ways to go ahead and you can cook with it. You can but it's all about dosing yourself properly, and that's where her business caters to teaching you how to do that process, where you're not going ahead and you're not over medicating yourself, or you're overdoing it. You understand what I'm saying? She does give private classes. She does teach you how to go ahead and you can do the butters, the honeys, the drinks with it. But she also sits there and takes care of that. Gives that explanation as to you want to microdose, because not everybody wants to use THC in the moment of getting high and just being stuck. They want to just be able to not feel pain or not feel get that relief, so to say.
You'll have to give her my information and send her over to the 411. We'll have to interview her and ask her some questions. Have her come on the 411.
She's really knowledgeable. Yeah, she's really knowledgeable. She's been, one of my biggest supporters. Like, anytime she does she does any type of event, she's always, you want person with a candle? She got the candles out there in the streets. You need to go ahead and you need to get her candles. She puts love into it. It's my business is more about love, giving you that it's not that commercial feeling like when you go ahead and you buy a candle from Walmart or from Yankee Candle Company or from Bath and Body Works. Yeah, you want your house to smell good. You want your house to smell clean and everything like that. And I get that, but what about giving that vibe? What about giving that essence that you want in your home? That peacefulness.
Right.
That intentional purpose, because your home is your safe space.
Absolutely.
Your home is where you want to lay your head, or even when you're out and traveling. That's your temporary home, but you want it to be that safe space for you.
Exactly. I know exactly what you mean. Yep. Oh, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that when it comes to the burning questions. I have something that is gonna spark that up. So here we are talking about being jealous. Track 11, Jealous, Song of the Day, Jealous by Faith Evans. So, of course, the title itself says it all. So we don't need to say any more about that. Now, here's a question that I have to ask. When you're in a relationship with someone who is jealous, does it affect one person or does it affect both? Like, for example, I'm in a relationship with somebody that's jealous. Oh, please, she's just jealous. I don't care. I'm good. Or somebody who's in a relationship and be like, man, girl, don't even worry about that. He's just jealous. He'll be all right. Do you think that that's healthy? And do you think that those relationships are able to progress when one party is jealous and the other is not? Is both affected, or is it just one?
It really depends on how you're built. For me, it's more of I've been married for quite some time. So can I say that I'm a jealous person? Can I say that my husband's a jealous person? Absolutely. Because you know what? I know what I got at home. He knows what he got at home. But, you could have wandering eyes and people see what they want to see or try to talk to you in a specific way. Mm-hmm. But it's also how you respond and how you present yourself. Now, because, again, jealousy is a learned behavior. So what would make that person feel jealous of that other person because of your action?
Now, if you've been together for so long,
know,
you're not jealous.
So
He's not jealous. Y'all been together forever. You're not jealous.
hello?
Can you hear me? Uh-oh.
It's breaking up.
Okay, you're back. I was saying, you said you've been married for so long. You're not jealous. Y'all been together forever. What would y'all two be jealous for? Wow, I don't think she hears. I think the line is cutting up. All right, we might have to call her back. We're going to call her back and get right on into that. If you have any questions for me about tonight's topic, 609-200-1098, y'all can go ahead and send that to me. Drop me a comment in the DMs. Let me know what's going on. Again, 609-200-1098. We're going to call Miss Raquel back. Little unstable line here. We'll see what this is like. It's been a minute since this has happened. But, of course, it wouldn't be a 411 podcast if we didn't have drop phone calls. Let's try calling her again. That's interesting. Well, let me get back on this topic and then we'll go ahead and call her, give her another call in a few minutes. Can both parties succeed well in a relationship with somebody being jealous and maybe the other person isn't jealous? I was trying to get down to the fact of if her situation, they've been together for so long, they're probably not jealous of each other, or whatever situation they're in. But we'll get her back on the line and discuss that in 1 second. Let me reset this here. Personally, I don't believe that could be a successful relationship if one party is jealous and the other isn't jealous. The jealous person, their emotions are always going to be like this, up and down, up and down. If somebody looks at you one type of way, it might go up. If something happens this way, it might go down. That person is just unstable. I feel that if you're jealous of anybody, any situation, it's a little unstable. It's not, you can't really be guaranteed that they're going to show up and be emotionally stable in a moment during whatever situation. If you're standing next to somebody too close, their emotions are going to start going up and down, up and down. I know a couple instances where a couple went into a restaurant and, the cashier at the McDonald's or Popeyes or whatever thought that the dude was cute. So threw a couple extra fries in the bag. They get back at the table. The girlfriend is like, well, what happened with this? We didn't order this. How'd we get all this extra food? That was that girl checking that dude and hooking him up. So now that person is jealous and all crazy. Homeboy didn't do anything. He just showed up and ordered food. And the chick thought that he looked good and threw some extra stuff in the bag. So because of that, now his girlfriend's emotions are all up and down like this. Unstable. So these are a couple examples of how I'm not quite sure if it will really work if one person can maintain, even keel. But then once something happens on the outside, somebody at the store looks at you too hard. I gave you the example of the fast food restaurant. That type of stuff happens all the time. If somebody is really feeling you, you get stuff for free all the time. And your partner, your spouse, your significant other catches glimpse of this, catches wind of somebody, giving you extra stuff. They're all up and down, up and down, up and down like this with their emotions going crazy. So I'm not quite sure that will really work too well in those situations there. Friendships at work. This is another terrible situation that I've seen time and time and time over again. Here we are, best friends or so-called friends in the workplace. And every time that the boss comes over to your desk and says, hey, you did such a great job today. Now you have your friend on the other end looking in that's supposed to be your ride or die. All of a sudden, their emotions are going up and down because guess what? They're not getting that attention. They're not getting this way. So then now there's this back and forth button heads between you two, and you have no idea why. I have no idea. The boss just came over and said that I did a great job. I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know why you're not getting, the praise or the accolades that maybe you feel that you deserve, but that has nothing to do with me. Again, now there's a friendship where every time somebody gets praised or every time somebody gets called on a special project at work or every time the boss is, making a joke with you, and the other person is on the other end looking and that's not happening to them, their emotions are going high and up and down. So me personally, my experience when it comes to these types of things is I don't believe that it's a healthy situation, and I do not believe that it will work long term. However, there are some people that say, just like I talked in the beginning, oh girl, don't worry about it, he's fine, he's just jealous. Oh, don't worry about her, she's just jealous, this happens all the time. You can take on that if you want to. However, the person that I am today, I don't feel like being anybody's therapist. And the fact that maybe if I'm not jealous, but you are, or I'm jealous and you're not, I don't want to be responsible for somebody else's emotions. I don't want to be responsible for somebody else's feelings. So the fact is that this person might need to seek some help if they can't get it together. Now, are you going to sit around and wait? Are you going to sit around and push them through? Or are you going to sit around and coach them through whenever they have their moments? Are you going to go to their therapy sessions? It could work out if somebody wants to seek some professional help, but there are definitely some unhealthy levels of jealousy that could cause some problems. So that's what the road that I was going down and trying to let Miss Hernandez know that no, I don't think you jealous. You don't got those type of levels of jealousy. I know what you said, but that's not I don't think that's it. So let me try to get her back on the line and see what happens here, but and then we'll take it from there.
Hey, Lauren.
Hey. How are you?
I'm okay.
I just went on this whole thing. I was trying to tell you that you're not jealous because I just explained this whole big old thing about being jealous. Y'all been married for so long. You're not jealous. At least that's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not jealous. I
Right.
know what's coming home. I know he's coming home to me. I'm coming home to him at the end of the day.
Right.
You know, but again, it's a displayed behavior that you're taught.
Now, do you think that if somebody is jealous, and I'm talking about extreme jealousy to the point where it's going to be like a major problem? Like some people can't control their emotions. I know one person who ended up going into the hospital, wanted to do harm to himself because his girlfriend was talking to another dude. Like, so those levels of extreme jealousy where it starts to become detrimental to somebody else's physical being because they are unstable. Do you think that if that person seeks therapy, if that person goes through some sort of counseling, do you think that that type of relationship is worth, I want to say, worth saving? Or when you think that it's that unhealthy where somebody is like scary unhealthy, when you think it is that unhealthy, is it best to just break off and leave the situation?
I think, me personally, if it's scary enough where I have to go ahead and I have to worry about myself and my own self being in my own peace, I have to walk away. Like, that's something that has to be displayed inner. You have to get that therapy because you have to, you have to work through it. You have to find out where that is coming from. Where is it? Where is that trigger coming from, and why is that trigger coming to you? And how do you go ahead and how do you sit there and retrain yourself to not have that trigger no more?
Well, I agree with that. If it's to the point where it's unhealthy like that, yeah, I think y'all two need to separate. But there are people who go through it and they help them. And I think that that's very, I'm going to say the word interesting because I've seen it before where this woman had to talk to her boyfriend and was on the phone with the mom, like, yeah, he's doing it again. He's up here at my job again, worried about who I'm speaking to. He needs to, speak to his therapist or his doctor. Like, that's too much because now you have to play somebody's counselor. You have to play somebody's like parent or guardian, like that type of relationship. I don't know if that couple is still together, but it was very unhealthy.
That sounds more like a narcissistic relationship as well, mixed with a jealousy relationship, with jealousy issues. Because again, learned behaviors. How do you become a narcissist, or how do you become jealous? Because that's something that's taught, but quietly taught because you're observing it. And observation is the key to a lot of things. As a child, yeah, you're sponging in all of that of what your parents are doing and what you're seeing around your own realm or your own world, where you see all of these behaviors and how is it that you're going to react and how are you going to handle that as you're getting older, or how do you deal with that?
Well, I can say that I displayed several layers of jealousy in my relationships in the past. I can most certainly say that. And a lot of that was because I didn't know who I was. I was very insecure, didn't know who I was, even though that I was in some pretty uh, powerful, significant positions. And, I had a lot of materialistic things at the time. All of that stuff was just covering up all of the things that I didn't feel good about myself. So, cars, all that stuff. And definitely in the workplace, I was just covering up stuff with just being in beast mode, like killing it. But again, on the inside, very insecure. So when it came to my relationships, um, yeah, that was definitely a big issue. Now, on the flip side about it, in the workplace, I've experienced where people were jealous of me. Now, I thought that this was pretty interesting because in my personal relationship, I was very insecure, but I was very confident in the workplace. But then I had people who were jealous of me in the workplace. And whether it was friends, but the worst part about it is when it's your boss. And I'm thinking to myself, well, you are definitely in a higher position than I am. You're making a heck of a lot more money than I am. But again, a lot of times that doesn't matter because money and materialistic things, that's not everything. Sometimes people can sense just I think we talked about this earlier where you said you walk into a room and people just know when you walk into a room. So, yeah. So workplace
It's your vibration. I mean, your vibration, it speaks to values when you're walking into any type of room, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a situationship, whether it's work. If you don't, you have to stand 10 toes down to what you firmly believe in as yourself and a person. You have to look into yourself, your inside. And if you're confident in one situation where it's, i.e., your work, then you should also look into your inside as in your personal as well. Because if they're both not aligned together, the vibration of who you are is going to be completely off.
Absolutely.
Because you could command that respect and that authority in the workplace, but are you commanding that respect and an authority in your relationship?
Well, if you had asked me this a couple years ago, I would have said nope. Nope. I know exactly what you mean. So,
because it all ties down to that self-worth. You got to know, at the end of the day, you got to know what you're worth. where you stand off in your point in life. And everything is, you're evolving as you go from, into every stage of life where you're a young child to a teenager to adulthood, and you're evolving. So you need to learn to self-discover while you're doing that at the same time, and understand yourself and understand those triggers so that you can bring both, work-life balance, work-life balance.
Absolutely.
You got to bring both. You have to bring both. If you're not secure in one, how are you going to be secure in the other?
That's so important. Speaking of which, anybody out there who might be suffering from any of these signs of jealousy, cell phones going off, you constantly needing to check in and know exactly where your partner is, where your spouse is, checking the social media. Nowadays, I don't know, it's this new age stuff. People share locations and stuff, and always where their whereabouts are and what they're doing and who are they talking to. I don't know what happened, but I had a little breakthrough. I don't know what happened, but I had a little awakening because, again, I have been delivered from all of those negative spirits of jealousy. But a couple of those things that I just, named, I'll be straight up honest and say, oh, yeah, back in the day, that used to be me. Like, who you talking to? Who was that? What happened? Where'd you go after this? I used to do all of that stuff. Now, none of that concerns me at all, because if anything shows up today that reminds me of any of those types of things, it's a wrap. Like, if I feel that I can't trust you and there has to be some sort of question as far as whatever, I've already got my lesson. I've already learned it to say, okay, this is too much for me right now. I'm going to have to just let this one rock because I've already been there before and I'm not doing it again. So if anything reminds you of something from the past that you've been through, I can't tell you what to do, but from my experience today, I'm not going to go down that path again. Cool situation. We might have really loved it. We might have really liked each other, but unfortunately, you are displaying some things that I have been through in the past that I no longer want to go down anymore. When you can set healthy boundaries and you can have respect for yourself, you don't have to play that game anymore. Now, I personally believe that it's hard for people to get to that point because they want to hold on and they don't want to let go. And they want to hold on and they don't want to let go. So when you finally let go and you get time for yourself and you give yourself some peace, you give your body a chance to rest, you give your mind a chance to rest so that you're not thinking about any type of relationship and you can just focus on yourself. I believe that's how you get delivered and how you can remove yourself from any type of any type of behaviors like that. We just lost her again.
I agree with that.
Oh, you're still there. Oh, you good?
No, can you hear me?
Yeah, I thought we lost you.
No. I'm not quiet. When I tell you, when I try to focus on certain things, this is something that's so important to me and how we discuss things. Mm-hmm. That I need a quiet environment to just focus. Because why? Because I want my attention and my span to be towards what we're discussing. Absolutely. So that's very important. Yeah. We're having a conversation about some real serious stuff. Yes. Like, people don't really get down and deep and dirty into these things sometimes and don't have those revelations or have those or set those boundaries or learn how to set the healthy boundaries that they need to set, not only for themselves but for other people around them. Like, you have to set those healthy boundaries, but you also, again, it all goes to understanding yourself and understanding what does that healthy boundary look like for you? Where are you setting it to a toll where it's like, okay, when am I gonna, or like, how they use that term, quiet quitting in the workplace. When do you quiet quit any type of relationship?
Well, I'm gonna tell
you. Where do you set that, or do you quiet quit and then do you walk away?
I love what you just said. You just opened up a door. How do you quiet quit? I'm going to tell you how you quiet quit. And I'm so glad that you said that, because that's a way to start your breakthrough. Anybody out there that's jealous, anybody out there that has a problem, maybe you don't want to seek professional help. Listen, if it's to a point where you feel that you're going to do harm to yourself or somebody else, yes, you need to go ahead and seek some professional help. But if you're not at that point where you don't think you're going to take it there, quiet quit, like Raquel just said. And I'm going to show you how the steps of quiet quitting help, because that's what actually helped me get on my path. My mentor told me this. Laren, sometimes you just have to learn how to shut the up. Just shut it up. That's quiet quitting. Quiet means shutting your mouth. And then once you start to shut your mouth and don't say anything and don't get crazy when certain things show up or certain people do certain things that might trigger certain things, and when you can just sit in it and you can think before you open up your mouth, before you say something, before you try to check somebody's text messages, before you try to check social media, before you try to go and do your little covert tactics of how you're going to try to figure out what somebody is doing, how about you just do like Raquel said and just quiet quit. Quiet quit. Shut your mouth, and on the inside, just take it down a notch. When you start to do that, trust and believe that your mind will start to open up and show you some different things that you'll be like, wow, I'm so glad that I decided to sit down and shut my mouth and shut up, because not everything requires you to jump in and do something about it. And I believe that is one of
Silence is one of those beautiful things that, you know what? Silence speaks volumes. Silence lets a person know, oh snap, like, oh, that you're not reacting to that. Like, you know, you have to sit there and you have to sometimes. I've learned that over the years of being a married woman. Sometimes you just gotta let him yell and scream and let him carry on and let him look crazy to be like, no, that's not what we're doing here, sir. That's not what we're trying to build here. We are bigger and better than that, sir. Let's get this together. Mm-hmm. Let's figure out where this is coming from so that we can go ahead and we can work through this and make a breakthrough.
Yeah, because I always tell my family this, that you've already lost the game the minute that you decide to go back and forth with somebody about something that is outside of you. So if somebody else is going off, if somebody else has the problem, if somebody else has the issue, that's cool. But when you start going back and forth with them, because it takes two people to have a issue, right? An argument or a disagreement, it takes two people to go back and forth. One person, they can be carrying on by themselves all they want. But once you start going back and forth, that's an argument. That's a disagreement. You've already lost the game. Especially when it has nothing to do with you. And I've learned that a lot too.
Sometimes you have to sit back. Sometimes you have to sit back and observe the behavior as to why they're acting like this. Right. And sometimes, you know, depending on the person, place, or situation or relationship that you have with that person, you have to respectfully check them and let them know, I'm not tolerating that. I'm not going to, like, I could love you, but I'm going to love you from a distance now. I'm going to have to set that boundary. I can't. I'm not sacrificing myself and my well-being in order to go ahead and have you force me to come out of something that I've already grown out of.
I know that's right. Now, you do the candles, of course. Anybody, when I say quiet quitting, sit with self, you'll be able to get through some of these things. Trust and believe. I've been there before. I've been from one extreme to another. Somebody who was like extremely jealous about every single thing, even materialistic things. Oh, this person got a fly car. This person got this. I would go to people's homes, right? Cookouts. This is summertime, right? I would go to people's homes and look at their backyard and be just pissed. Like, why don't my shit look like this? Oh, this ain't right. Like, I was that type of person, very materialistic, always had to have things that way. So I went from one extreme to the other, to where today I could care less. I don't want nothing that you have. Trust and believe I don't want anything that you have. What's for you is for you, and what's for me is for me. And I love for you to have everything. The person I am today, less is more. I could do without all of that stuff. However, on this journey to get from one extreme to the other, it took a lot of self reflection. It took a lot of, like Raquel said before, quiet quitting. I had to quiet quit a lot of different relationships that I was in. Like, you might have thought you were still in a relationship with me, but I secretly just shut that thing down and I started to get with myself until eventually you decided to move on. You decided to move on. You decided to move on. Maybe you might need to quiet quit a whole bunch of different relationships and think about the different attachments that you have in your life. Is this an asset or a liability to me? Are you going to bring joy and peace, or are you going to bring aggravation and trigger these things of jealousy and these weird emotions that I have going on inside? If somebody's triggering these weird emotions of you being jealous, then that's more so like a liability, because that's subtracting from you. That's not bringing any positivity. That's not bringing any love into your life. So evaluate your life in a whole and figure out the different assets and liabilities that you have within the relationships in your realm. That's the first thing. However, once you start to get with yourself and you start to have that time and you start to figure out what works best for you, now it's time to start to clear that energy and to start to rewrite your own story and to start to bring in some positive things that will make you your better person. And this is where my friend will come in with her candles, and she can help you personally custom create something that will work best for you and your world. So, can you fill us in as far as what you do with your business and how you can help people clear their energy, take out negativity, and bring in some more positive, you know, love environments into their world?
Of course, yes. So not only do I do regular, just general candles, just to make your home or your vibe feel different, I also do custom. So I do custom as if, you call me up and say, hey Raquel, this is the situation I'm going through. I have a lot of envious people around me, a lot of negativity around me, and I want a candle, but you have so much to provide. Can you make me a candle specifically for me? Of course I can.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah.
Because you know what? Everybody.
Write that one. Write that one down. Okay, I got you. Check.
You know what's going? Because everybody's life in it. However, my lifestyle is not your lifestyle. Your lifestyle is not my lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So what's going on that you feel as though this energy is going on? So with that being said, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to rid? You want to rid the evil. You want to rid evil eye from your situation. All right. So do you want it to be clean? Do you want it to? What is it that you want? Because at the end of the day, it's specific to your situation. So I create, scents that will go ahead and go together with what you're explaining to me. And I make that candle specifically for you, just for you and your situation. Because you can go from one situation to another. All right, now I don't have any evil eyes on me, but I also want to bring in some love. So can you make me that love candle so that I can attract, and I need to bring some of that stuff in. So, I add little oils, I add little crystals, I add a little bit of love into what I do. Because why? Because that energy is what you need. And you need positive energy when you're doing stuff like that. So I believe in just surrounding myself and grounding myself in that positive energy. And when I do make those custom things, it's coming from love. It's coming from the intention that you're telling me, so that we can go ahead and make sure your situation, your realm, your world is at ease or at peace, because you're looking to self-discover. You're looking to take away from that or bring something to you, or to make that, it's personal at the end of the day. Everything is personal. So I believe in bringing that personal into a candle, I have, other products that I do. I also do incense. I also do shower steamers because I'm about spiritual health and wellness. Like I need to go ahead after a long day of work. I need to relax. I need to have that good sleep. So I have like these shower steamers that not everybody likes to take a bath. So you don't want to go ahead and you want to take a bath. You want to take a shower because that's what you feel like having. So I made shower steamers where you can use one for the day for nighttime to go ahead and go to sleep. I have one for cold and flu season, and even when people suffer from respiratory issues. I also have one just to go ahead. People have aches and pains and don't like to take medication and don't like to want to heal themselves holistically. And bring in that good energy. A lot of what I do is more of bringing that energy, bringing that holistic side of candles and all my products together. Because it's all about a vibe, It's just like, for instance,
I love that.
You getting ready to, you're bringing in a relationship, or you're starting a new relationship, and you're at that date night phase, and you're constantly, hey, I'm gonna have them come over, so you want to go ahead and add that essence of your smells and have that person attract to you, and handle your business at the end of the day, but you want it to be something special and meaningful.
All right, now you're gonna get these people jealous up in here. They're gonna be smelling so good, and they're gonna get attracted. They're gonna get jealous.
Hey, what is for you is for you, and what's not for you is not for you. At the end of the day, and I stand firm on that. What you bring what you give out into this universe is what you're gonna go ahead and attract.
Absolutely, that is so true.
And that's the long end and the short end of it. If you're constantly bringing negativity to a situation, that negative energy, that negative vibe is always going to follow you. And then you're going to sit there and you're going to wonder, and this is where it brings in the jealousy. Oh, well, why is it that she's getting all of this and he's getting all of that, but I can't get it? Because you're bringing all that negative energy to your realm. Come on, stop doing that, bro. Let's get this together.
Yeah.
Get it together.
That is so true. That's how I used to be. I'm telling you. Did not know why, but now I know today. I'll tell you. Yeah,
I mean, like I said, when I started my business, it was because of a traumatic ending of, a loved one of mine.
Yeah.
And it was my therapy. Everybody handles death and losing somebody, whether it not be death, but just even in life. And you have to figure out, some people, again, people don't like taking medications. People need to go ahead and reflect within themselves in order to figure out what's that trigger. How do I go ahead and how do I take care of myself, my mental health, my mental sanity, and what is it that I need in order to go ahead and take that away so that it doesn't happen again?
Right.
So with me, it was just throwing myself into working with my hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember you telling me.
I'm all about love and light. I love fire. And I'm that person that you don't ever want to burn that bridge with, because I promise you, once you burn that bridge with me, it's a wrap. Don't ever speak to me again.
And there's no reason.
However,
yeah, I know what you mean. There's no reason for it. Once you've done it, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. I get it. Yep.
And I tend to even with that, it's for me. That's also another thing that we could bring into the jealousy. It's the energy. That energy that's brought, that's learned, that's embedded in you, and you have to figure out ways to stop that trigger.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what helped me share my journey. I did a lot of the quiet quitting. I started to sit down and shut my mouth and realize that everything is not for me to be able to comment on. I think one of my guests this week said something like that. Everything is not for me to comment on. I don't have to. Valine Jackson said it on the first night, that you don't have to jump up and step up and say something to every single situation. Sometimes it's there for you to observe and learn. And that's what I started to do. And more so, I learned about who I was. And more so, I learned and I remembered who I was. because when you start to get jealous, that means you're lost and you're caught up into somebody else a little bit too much. And maybe you need to take some of that energy and start to redirect that and bring that back towards self. So I did that and got on a good track of staying in prayer, which is number one for me. Getting into meditation, which is number two. There's so many different things. To redirect and get your mind.
There's so many different ways to redirect yourself. You can do prayer, you can do meditation, you can do cleansing. Some people just tend to go ahead and do, like me sometimes when I'm feeling down and out, I go ahead and I sit by the ocean side. I'm a perfect example. You in Atlantic City right now. You right by where I would want to be right now, like sitting there. That's my happy place, being by the water. Because why? Because my natural inertia for me is I'm a hothead at certain times, and it's not a hot-headedness because of it's not a hot-headedness or a reaction. It's an initial reaction of a trigger because you know what, you're coming to me with a problem, and I'm a problem solver, and I advocate for people. So as I say to myself, my higher being is because I am a warrior. I want to fight for everybody, and I want to take care of everybody, but I also have to learn to take care of myself.
Absolutely, because if you don't do that first, you ain't gonna be able.
What better way? Yep, and what better way to keep somebody that has that fire, that burns, that earns, that wants to go ahead and burn everything down because, whether it be at work, whether it be, for family, whether it be for friends, for me, I need to cool down.
Yeah.
Because I get angry. You can tell when I'm angry. I get angry just like your red kufi that you have on right
now.
Like that's how.
I love that you know the name. So many people be like, "What's the name of that?" And I'll be like, "Really? You never heard of that before?" I love that. So you from around the way,
You know what it is that as a person of, I put it to you, I'm all about spirituality. So you have to learn and since I'm about the health and wellness and spirituality, everybody walks a different spiritual path. People that tend to go ahead and believe in different things. Yes, there is a higher God or higher being. Every religion is different. We believe in different aspects of a certain religion, and you tend to gravitate towards that and those practices and those beliefs. But all is all in one and the same at the end of the day.
I know that's right. Now
and I have learned over the years, I respect everybody's faith. I respect everybody's religion and how they conduct themselves and what they believe. And that's what, for me, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm a Catholic and I practice, that I'm practiced without. No, I am a spiritualist at the end of the day. I believe in everything that is taught to us, everything that is around us, everything that is given to us. And I respect everybody in that aspect, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I know what a kufi is. Yeah, I know what it is to go ahead and have a head wrap on because some people believe that, you have to protect your head because your head is your third eye.
I know that's right. No, that's right. I had that conversation earlier as far as respecting all different cultures because, a Muslim is no better than a Christian and vice versa. So if there's one God, I truly believe that there's one God, of course, and that all of these different religions will lead to the universal. So we are all one and the same. Absolutely. Now, as we move on, we get ready to get into this segment, which is burning questions. But before we get into burning questions, I want to go ahead and give people a couple more things that they can use to help them if they might be struggling with jealousy. We talked about prayer. We talked about meditation. We talked about sitting and giving time with yourself so that you can get it together. if you're coming out of a situation, if you're exiting out of a situation. You might want to holler at my girl Raquel and pick up some of her candles. You might want to have a one-on-one consultation with her so she can help build everything for you that will work best for you. But in the meantime, while you're on that journey, you might want to stop following them on social media. Just as quick as you invited them, just as quick as you followed them, you can unfollow them. My mentor says you can uninvite people in your life. You can unfriend so that you don't have to mess up your visuals and have your heart and have your mind and have your emotions on an up and down roller coaster, up and down roller coaster. Because if it was like that when you were together in a relationship, once you step away, you have to have control. You have to have self-control of yourself, or otherwise you're going to still keep taking yourself down that same road, down that same path, and have that same issue. So that would be one of the first things that I would do. Secondly, surround yourself by good friends and good family. And I'm not talking about fake friends. I'm not talking about the ones that might have been linked up with you because you met this person through this spouse, or you met this person through this boyfriend, or you met this person through this person at work. You have to have your own friends. And that's something that I learned. They were never your friends to begin with. They were their friends. They were her friends. They were his friends. So when you start to back up and you start to release yourself from a situation, when you start to release yourself from a workplace, when you start to release yourself from a relationship, those people weren't your friends. You might need to start cutting that stuff off and letting it go, because then they're going to be calling and saying, hey, guess what the boss said about you here? They couldn't believe that you did this wrong, or you did that, or you did this, or nah. Cut it off, because you're going to, only person that you're going to hurt is you, and you're going to delay your own process in that. Meanwhile, go back to square one. Go back to the ropes. You got your own friends. You got your own family. And when I say you got your own family, you better be careful with family too, because sometimes family can do you in worse than the people in the streets. So it's all about having the right people, having the right people around you. Oh, well, that's my cousin, or oh, that's my whatever. I don't care nothing about that. If they sitting there reminding you of some BS when you told them that you don't want to go down that street, then why are they sitting here bringing that stuff up? Because we said that we're done with that, and that's exactly what that means. So it's all about you. It's all about you. It's all about you getting yourself together, and everything starts with self. Start with yourself first. If you're jealous of somebody, if you're jealous of what somebody else has, it don't have nothing to do with them, but it has everything to do with you and how you're feeling. You need to get your emotions in check. Again,
I agree with you on that. Can I add on to what you just said? Because
yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, go right ahead.
I just need to speak on this, because while you're in your journey and looking into yourself and doing what you have to do for yourself, you have to learn to be a lot more selfish than selfless.
Absolutely. And learn how
to. You need to learn that hard no is that hard no. That's it. You're not going down that. If you see that situation is negative and it's not going to go ahead and prosper you in any way, shape, or form, no, that's not for me. You need to recognize that that's the first thing that while you're on your self-discovery journey, you need to go ahead and know what's good for you. Make what's good for you, what's feeling good for you at the end of the day, because you have to come first.
Absolutely. Now, are you a Mary J. Blige fan?
I am.
Did you listen to the Good Morning Gorgeous album?
Parts of it, yes.
Okay. Now that's
parts of it, yes.
That's gonna be a prerequisite to come on a Full Moon podcast. If you ain't listened to, no, I'm just kidding. But she has a song.
Listen, I'm very old school with it. Listen, my favorite all-time album of Mary is My Life.
I knew it.
I knew that's where she went ahead.
I knew it. Yeah, that's a classic.
Self-discovered her whole entire self.
You were talking about if something reminds you, and I'm so on this today, because the minute, and it has nothing to do about a relationship, with a romantic relationship. Sometimes it's at work, because I've come through a discovery when it comes to the workplace too, because I left this job because I didn't like this boss, and the next thing you know, I show up and then now the new boss, ends up being just like the last boss. So I'm like, well, F you too, I'm leaving too. And then I get into a new situation and I'm like, damn, here's this damn boss again. So I had to learn my lesson and say, okay, listen, this is like 3 or 4 times and the same type of, supervisor is showing up. Something ain't right, Laren. You got to figure this stuff out. So Mary has a song called Love Without the Heartbreak. And there's a breakdown in there that I just love and I just keep listening to it. And she says, I never claimed to be a genius, but I lived long enough to see this. That's all she had to say on that record. I'm done. Because as I'm going through life, when there's certain things that show up in my world and that reminds me of something, at my age now, I'm like, okay, listen, we're done. Like, I'm not playing this game again. I lived long enough to see this. I may not be a genius. I may not know everything, but I've lived long enough today to know that I've seen that this shit showed up before. So this behavior and this type of stuff that is showing up, I don't want that anymore because I've done it before. So that's why I was asking if you had listened to that, because when you were talking about boundaries and telling people absolutely not, no, you have time for yourself. I highly recommend anybody listening to Love Without the Heartbreak. And it's basically letting people know that, yeah, I want love without the heartbreak while going through this situation. Yeah, I'm done with this because we've already seen this behavior before. So that's that. Shout out to the Queen of Hip Hop.
Yeah, you're right. I was actually sitting there listening to a couple of things. Like I had discussed with you earlier. I had put the song of the day on there, and I just put it on and I listened to it for the first time, and I was like, yeah, I get it. I totally understand why you put that out there and why this topic was there. But you know what? Another song that has revelation to it too is Fantasia, Free Yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't want me.
Absolutely.
Then don't talk to me.
Yeah. And that's a song that I needed to sing to myself back in the day, because I could have freed myself a long time ago, and I didn't, but I did when I needed to. And that's another thing too, like, and that's one aspect of freeing yourself, like when you're on that end. But then when you're on Fantasia's end, I can understand that definitely today, because listen, I was on the other end where I needed to free myself, and now I'm on the other end where I'm like, where Fantasia is speaking like, listen, I'm going to stand true to who I am. I don't give what you say today. I could care less what you say. I'm not backing down. I'm not going around. What I told you is what I told you, and it is what it is. And I'm sorry that it has to be like that, but I'm not putting up with these things. So because I'm telling you that I'm not putting up with these things and I'm no longer going to accept X, Y, and Z, if you don't want me, then don't talk to me. Free yourself, because you ain't going to try to get one over on me today. Maybe the old one you could have, but today. So I get, now it's two aspects of it. Now you could be the person where you might need to free yourself because you can't handle it. You still trying to like come with the game. You still trying to do your thing. You still trying to overstep boundaries. You still trying to be disrespectful in the situation. Oh, we getting ready to get into burning questions. You just set this up real good. But then on the other end, you could be like Fantasia, like, listen, I've been through a lot of shit in my life, and absolutely not. And I'm telling you that this is it. The rope stops here. The buck stops here. And if you don't want this situation, go on and free yourself. Just do yourself a favor, and actually do me a favor. Actually, you know what? Actually do yourself a favor. You ain't doing me a favor, because I'm going to stand true to who I am. Now, the only person that's going to get fixed from this situation is you, because I'm already on my path. That's it right there. That's a good song of the day. We're going to have to do that one day.
Listen, Let It Go by Keisha Cole.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's another one.
We can go on to a lot of stuff when it comes to this specific topic.
Okay, people, just don't be jealous no more. If you're jealous, you need to look in that mirror. You don't have nothing to be jealous of. Nothing. All that stuff is shallow, materialistic. Those looks gonna fade. All that stuff that they have, all that stuff is gonna fade. Those people that are in those positions that you think are superseding you and climbing up the ladder, trust and believe that what goes up must come down. Those same people that pass you, you're gonna see them on the other end. A living example here. Trust and believe.
That's right. Exactly.
Now.
Exactly. What goes up must come down. Yeah, we can go all the way up. We could go all the way up, but you know what? you need to learn to humble yourself when you go on climbing that ladder. Because the same way you climb that ladder is the same way that you're going to knock yourself down on that ladder. And you better humble yourself and remember, regardless of whatever it is and the people that you step on to get up to that ladder to where you're at right now, understand that they can come and burn that ladder just as fast.
Absolutely. Living proof. Absolutely. I've been on both ends of it. Absolutely. Now, this is real deep. This conversation has went into it did what it was supposed to do tonight. Thank you so much to everybody out there who's joining in and who have joined in. For the people who are going to check out the replay, I get all of that. I just want to say thank you so much to everybody out there. The official 411 podcast hotline is 609-200-1098. Again, we rocking with the burning question soon. If you want to comment on that, you can text me. You can also send me your own burning questions. They may show up on a segment. They may show up on something that I post on social media. Who knows? But again, 609-200-1098. And of course, you can DM me on any of my social media platforms. We are getting ready to get into burning questions. And of course, we're talking about jealousy tonight. So these burning questions are going to align just as well. So, burning questions. Have you ever struggled to set boundaries in your relationships, resulting in feeling used or disrespected? What strategies did you use to establish and enforce those boundaries? I'll read it one more time. Have you ever struggled to set boundaries in your relationships, resulting in feeling used or disrespected? What strategies did you use to establish and enforce those boundaries? You still rocking with me?
I'm still rocking with you. I'm still rocking with you. Now, again, this is a loaded question. This two-part question is very loaded. Yeah, have I struggled to set boundaries in my relationships, resulting in feeling used? Of course, I think all of us have. Mm-hmm. Now, how I handle it is self-reflection. Why? Because you need to look at yourself and see why did you let that happen? What was the purpose? Why did you let that person go ahead and make you feel that way? Because if you have already set the boundaries in any relationship or situation, I'm gonna put it to you in any situationship, because a relationship could be a situationship as well. So with that being said, in any situationship, if you know your expectations of yourself and your self-worth, and you haven't verbalized that to that person specifically, I'm not tolerating it. This is what's going to happen. X, Y, and Z. Understand. You need to be clear and concise. Mm-hmm. And I'm all about communicating and not hiding behind innuendos or dropping little subtle hints. Now we have to have a good discussion. Because I'm not going to allow you to continue to do this to me, because you're going to trigger me to be somebody that I don't want to be.
Absolutely.
And I'm trying to evolve in a better way. So with that being said, either we're going to have a discussion, and if you want to avoid the discussion, then understand you're cut off.
I like the part where you said we're just going to outright go on and tell you. We're outright going to put it out on the table. We ain't going to drop little subtle hints. And I think when you drop little subtle hints, or you take long to tell people right from the beginning, you've done yourself a disservice. And for my own experience, I could say, yeah, I used to be so busy looking at the wrong things, so busy trying to conquer the wrong things, so busy trying to look at appearances and what people were going to think of on the outside, that once I was in a situation, now would drop subtle hints because I didn't want to disrupt what other people would think, and I didn't want to lose what I thought that was something special, which anyway. So that's very important, dropping subtle hints. No, let that stuff fly from day one, and put that stuff all out on the table from day one, so that you don't have any of those issues. So I like when you said that.
Yeah, because you know what, and and I say this to anybody that I interact with, where I'm starting to build a rapport or a relationship with. I'm not for everybody, and I'm not everybody's cup of tea. But don't ever come here and ask me if you're gonna come with me with a problem. Understand that problem, you might not like what I'm gonna say to you because I'm very blunt and honest with you. And I'm not gonna hold my tongue whether it comes out sounding harsh, disrespectful, or anything like that. Understand at the end of the day, I'm a loving and humble person, but sometimes you need to hear that harshness and that disrespectfulness that comes out of somebody's mouth just a little bit, so that you can understand that what you're doing is wrong.
I told you back
that you could be running in an idiotic circle. You can make yourself look stupid out here in these streets. No, that's not for me. That's not for me.
I told someone this week as well that it was with Shanti Refuge. My message was clear, but my delivery was horrible. So, like, what I was telling you was straight up and real. Like, I'm sorry that it came off harsh because I wasn't in my, spiritual awakening moment and I didn't know how to speak to people properly. But when you sit back and you want to write it down on a piece of paper or you want to rehearse it in your mind, the message that I was giving to you was absolutely clear. You were wrong. This situation was disrespectful, no good. But how it came out of my mouth. Could I have done it a little better? Did I have to show up like the Tasmanian devil? Probably not. But trust and believe that the message was clear, because if you try to do this old okey doke stuff with somebody else, trust and believe that the same message is going to show up and ain't nobody having that. My delivery was horrible. So I got you. I got you with that.
Listen. I tend to, especially when I'm building those relationships, because sometimes people need to hear that. Like, I get, everybody says they don't have people say that they don't have red flags. Let me tell you, I have red flags all day, every day. I'm not going to sit here and say that I am perfect, because I am far from it. Am I continuously working on myself? Yes, I am. However, I'm going to be true to myself, and myself is to be real with everybody, because at the end of the day, I'm loyal. And if I'm allowing you to come into my circle or to be around me and my energy, understand that this is what it is at the end of the day. I love you, but understand I can go ahead and I can cut you off at the same time.
Absolutely. Because we all have our own worlds, like we're speaking about realm of relationships. I spoke about this before. I got my realm going on over here. Raquel has hers going over there. I can't tell her I can't make moves what's going on in her realm. Vice versa, she can't do the same. And for those of you out there that's listening, the same thing that you have, we are living in our own world. We write our own stories. And can't nobody make moves or control or do anything. So if you're feeling used or you're feeling disrespected in any type of relationship or any type of situation, ain't nobody use you. Ain't nobody disrespected you except for yourself. Because if you had the right type of love, you had the right type of situation for yourself, and even though as harsh as it might sound, if you had the right type of love for yourself, no one will be able to use or disrespect you, because you would stand true and be like, absolutely not. So
you gotta, at the end of the day, you have to stand true to yourself, and like I said, I'll let you know straight from the door. Like, okay, yeah, I could be professional, but if you're looking for a friendship, then understand, professional is professional, friendship is friendship. Yeah, can I be that corporate person? Yeah, you have to have certain facades for certain moments and certain things at the end of the day, but you still have to be true to yourself at the end of the day. You have to stand firm, 10 toes down on what you want. And if being honest and true to yourself is being blunt and honest, and sometimes can be a little bit disrespectful, but you only meaning it by love, understand, this is my message. Yeah, could I have delivered it a different way? Absolutely. But I don't placate, because when you placate, that means that you're enabling somebody, which causes all that whole trickling emotional feelings of jealousy, envy, disrespectfulness, feeling used, it brings down all these other emotions that, you know what, at least when you're talking to me, you're getting what you're getting, and that's it.
Right, right. I got a friend that will give it to me straight up, regardless. And sometimes I'll be like, you know what, that delivery was horrible. But you know what? And I'll look back and I'll be like, yeah, Laren, yeah. I get it. I get it. But the message is clear. But
sometimes you need them.
yeah,
sometimes you need those words, though.
yeah. And then I'm like, when you got a good friend like that, that could really give it to you that way, sometimes you just have to take it and be good. Like, all right, that's fine. You got those friends where you be like, man, I'm not even calling you no more. I'm done with you for like whatever. And then you be like, you know what? And then y'all get back to talking, and yeah. It's all.
Oh, trust me, I understand. I have I don't want a situationship with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to say a friendship or a relationship, because it's still, how like you're still up in the air and you're still trying to figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
I've known this person for 20 some odd years. We've had several fallouts throughout the years. Mm-hmm. Have we spent the time of going ahead and not talking to each other years apart? Absolutely. Have we? She knows my number hasn't changed. I know her number hasn't changed. I'm that person. You want that advice? Go ahead and pick up the phone and call me. I'm not going to go ahead and reject you. Just understand that my distance is what it is for a reason. My presence is always going to be absent to you, because you know what? That's what you miss, somebody being honest and real with you and truthful with you at the end of the day. And that's why you continue to call me. That's why we continue to be in the situation that we're in. I'm going to tell you like it is at the end of the day, but I love you, but I'm going to have to love you from a distance. But that's my self-love and me taking care of myself.
Absolutely. You don't have to invite every single thing in. Like, here's another thing, too, when dealing with people. Take yourself out of the situation. I started to learn how to take myself out of the situation. Like, when it comes to enforcing boundaries and stuff like that, start to enforce those boundaries with yourself personally, with yourself mentally, and say, you know what? You can't change anybody. You can't control anybody. The only thing that you can do is have self-control and control yourself. So the fact that this person continues to show up the same way that they are, I'm not going to get mad at them, because I already know who they are. I know that this is a pattern. Like you said, that person, you've known them for 22 years or whatever. You already know this person's pattern. You know what's going to happen. So as this person continues to show you who they are, just be like, yeah, I already knew it, because that's what happens. That's what they do. You can't go in and jump in and try to change and try to manipulate and try to think that someone's going to show up any different than what they've already showed you and told you who they are. So that helps too. That helps too with setting boundaries, mental boundaries, where you're like, I'm not even going to take myself through the trip. Like, why? Well, I already know what you're going to do. I already know you're going to do it, because you've been doing this for years. I already know. Like, now, if you can handle that type of relationship, then that's cool. But if you can't, and you sitting on the side thinking that, oh, this person's going to change, or, I hope that this situation gets better, or I'm just going to, like, when you start to get like that, you start to get into some muddy waters, because now you are sitting here putting your trust into somebody else, thinking that they're going to be able to make that thing work. No, you got to make it work for yourself. You got to set those boundaries. You got to set the stage so that everything can flow properly. And don't get upset when it comes to people like that, because all they are is being exactly who they're supposed to be, and that's it.
Exactly, and that's it. And you have to take it for what it is. And like I say, sometimes you gotta love from a distance. Yeah, hey, how you doing? All right, I'm calling to check up on you. You good? All right, family good? All right, cool. Talk to you soon. Talk to you whenever. You understand what I'm saying? It's all about, at the end of the day, self-care and knowing your triggers. If you know that person triggers you in a certain way when they come at you a certain way, or you just know that whole situation is just not good for you, but they want to still keep the lines of communication open, because they know that, you're a trusted person, you're a loyal person, and you're going to give it to them raw, regardless of how the message is going to be given. Just you gotta love them for who they are. I mean, they're gonna show you who they are right then and there in certain situations, whether it's life threatening or not, or you know who your real friends are when you're going through certain situations at certain points in your life where you need those people. So you think that they're your day one, and you see whether they show up or they show up.
Well said. Well said. Well, we had such a great conversation here. I love speaking to you. It's so great catching up with you. And now it's that time where we got to go ahead and wrap up. So if you want to go ahead and let the good people know out there where they can follow you at, where they can check you out and check out your candles and your business and everything that you do.
Of course. So you can go ahead and you can reach me at Oshe, OSHE _candles. For Instagram, Oshe Candles. At Facebook, my website is OsheCandles.com. You can always send me a message. Typically, you can always find me on Instagram, and I just share everything through all my other social media. So you can always send me a message. You can email me, OsheCandles@gmail.com. And I try to respond as promptly as I can, and we can always move forward from there.
That's what's up. Thank you so much for showing the 4-1 podcast and reading between the wines. So much love. You have been definitely a true supporter since we first started talking. So you even reached out to me about future events and stuff in your area. So I definitely do appreciate that. And anytime that I could show up.
No problem. I appreciate you. Yeah, anytime, I'm here for you. You already know what it is. Love is love. I appreciate all the opportunities that you give. Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure just to catch up with you and just have that good energy, have that good talk, and just keep it rocking and rolling.
Yeah, we definitely went in tonight. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the rest of your peace and quiet. Enjoy it.
Thank you. You as well. Enjoy the rest of your vacation out in Atlantic City. We're gonna have to go ahead and plan something where we connect in person soon.
Absolutely, we right there. So it ain't gonna take much.
Exactly.
All right. Take care. Good night.
All right. Good night.
All right, y'all. There you have it. That was Raquel Hernandez with Oshe Candles. And I can always remember her name because I have a cousin named Raquel. Shout out to Raquel. Thank you so much for supporting and holding me down on Facebook. I see you pop in here and there. I appreciate that. So we had a great show tonight. Spoke about some great things. This is a very tough topic. And the reason why I want to say that it's tough because I feel like a lot of the men secretly, and only speaking from experience, a lot of the men, thank you so much, SOS, a lot of the men secretly can be very jealous, and sometimes they can be very possessive in some of these relationships. So not so much the ladies. I know that Faith Evans wrote the song Jealous, but for some reason, and the only reason why I'm saying this is because I'm a man and speaking from a perspective, you get that nice, thing hanging on your arm, and she just so fly, and you don't want nobody else checking her, and you don't want nobody else. Again, that's where those insecurities come in. That's where those things from the past childhood will show up and rear its ugly head. That's where, past traumas and all that stuff. And this is a heavy topic tonight. And I'm so glad that, Rockwell was able to come in and help me because, like I said, this is a heavy topic. So, fellas, yeah. So for those of you, I know the ladies rock with me, but this a lot of the fellas deal with some of these things. But anyway, if you enjoyed tonight's conversation and you want to keep the same type of conversation going on that we have tonight, you can head on over to LarenGaines.com. You can sign up for the coaching sessions. I have several different methods that will help you. You can do 30 minutes, you can do an hour, you can do 2 hour coaching sessions with me where it's just basically conversations that, we're having here live on air, and whatever topic you like to go over. You tell me what you got going on. I give you my perspective. I give you my personal life experience as far as what I've been through. I can't tell you what to do. That's your situation. That's your life. You handle it however you handle it. I don't tell you what to do. I sort of guide you through this process here. So at LarenGaines.com, that's the coaching sessions. You can go ahead and check me out there. Also, I have some new apparel. I also have Reading Between the Wines wine tastings that I have posted on there as well. If you have an event, if you have a party, if you have something going on and you want me to show up and do a little wine tasting for you and your friends and family, you most certainly can go ahead and check that out. And I will just show up with all of the good little wine and specialties and stuff like that, and we can have a great time. Speaking of reading between the wines, okay, so one of my favorite artists, Robin from the UK. I love her. I think Sweden or something like that. Listen, when it comes to all of the geographic stuff, don't hold me to it, but I know she's from there. I have been a fan of her since I was like, must have been 12, 13 years old, something like that. I know I was in, I don't know, middle school, high school, something like that. Might even been older, 15, 16. But in any case, I just love Robin. I thought she was the dopest, flyest. She really was something to be reckoned with coming out at that time. For those of you who don't know Robin, the debut song that she showed out on the scene was "Always Be Around." She was the girl that had this little short bob, the white girl with the short bob that was bopping and dancing on top of the van. That's my chick right there. So anyway, fast forward. I had no idea that she had came out with this song called Between the Lines, and it's off of her Honey album, which she released in 2020, somewhere around there. I think she was touring around that time. Might have been a year, anywhere around 2020. So when I came across it, I said, "Oh snap! I like it. It's so dope." And I had already came out with the Reading Between the Wine show, and it just sounds so nice. So it is what it is. It's official. So thank you so much, Robin, but I'm stealing your record. So Between the Lines is the official Reading Between the Wines song, my theme song. So it is what it is. I'm stealing it. And if I ever see her in person, I definitely would have to tell her that. But that is my joint. So when it comes to the live events, when it comes to Reading Between the Wines in person, up close in person, trust and believe that joint is going to be in, and everybody can have their glasses and we can toast up because definitely that's it. So thank you so much to Robin for that. And of course, it just marries so well with the music because it just makes so much sense. Tomorrow, speaking of Reading Between the Wines, I have Mr. Birdman all the way. I believe he's from DC. I could be wrong. I think I might be wrong. Maybe Detroit. There you go. Somewhere over there. He's coming out, Reading Between the Wines, tomorrow. This is his new book. I can't wait to speak to him. He has supported Reading Between the Wines. He came across me on X, which is formerly known as Twitter, and he has been very supportive ever since then, and I most certainly support him. I can't wait to get into this. He has such a huge catalog of books, and this is his material. Excuse me, about to drop something in here. I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up or not, but he has a great body of work. Nice poems in this book here. Mr. Birdman, 313, tomorrow, Reading Between the Wines. I'll be sampling Snoop Dogg's Cabernet, Sauvignon Blanc. I got to get my grapes together. We got Birdman in, his new book, 313 Birdman Outdoor Memories. It's a collection. I'm going to read the back of this before we get out of here, and then I'm going to also read it again tomorrow. Sampling Snoop Dogg, Sauvignon Blanc. So what was it, Saturday? I sampled his Cali Gold, which is a sparkling wine. Tomorrow I'm going to do his Sauvignon Blanc. All right. If you want, I don't know if you can see exactly what I got going on here. I have oceanfront out back there. It's a little darker now because it's sort of the sun went down, of course. But if you go back and you rewind from when we first start the show, you can see, how beautiful the scenery was through the window glass. It's even better when you look up close. Oceanfront view there. So vacation with me. If you want to go on vacation, not quite sure where you want to go, that's up to you. You can fill out the information on my website, laryngaines.com. If there's any specific place that you like to vacation at, limited availability. Not everybody's vacationing with me, but if you would like to vacation with me, which basically I will help set up and plan, and we go through the motions to get you into a condominium type lifestyle. It's going to be a home away from home. You will have your general appliances, refrigerator, stove, dishwasher, that type of stuff, balcony, whatever you get, washer, dryer, you name it. You'll have that type of lifestyle wherever you'd like to go. For the most part, not every single place, but we can sort of get you in general to where you'd like to go. Limited availability. Head on over to laryngaines.com, sign up for vacation with me, and we could take it from there. For me personally, I don't want to do anything when I go on vacation. I don't want to be cleaning up anything. I don't want to go through anything like that. Listen, that's just the way I want to live. However you do it is how you do it. Some people do Airbnbs. Some people do this, that. They got to clean up and do this, the next, the other. And if you knock this over or if this happens, there's going to be an issue and you're going to get charged for this, that, the next, the other, whatever. People, you handle it however you want to handle it. For me, if something breaks down, something is not working right, they're going to just move me to another unit. And that's not my responsibility. I don't want to be responsible for absolutely nothing because it ain't mine. How about that? I don't want nothing to do with it. Dishwasher don't work, give me to another unit. Oh, something happened to the stove? Okay, yeah, give me to another unit. Sometimes when you do Airbnbs and you start to, play around in people's properties, and I've heard so many horror stories about stoves breaking and blowing up and pictures falling off the wall and all types of stuff like that, and now you're responsible for it. We're not doing that. If you want a condominium lifestyle, holla at your boy, laryngaines.com. We can go and set you up to wherever you like the vacation, and if it's available, we can get you set up. Again, limited availability for only select few people who are really serious about going on these vacation journeys. Other than that, tomorrow we got Mr. Birdman coming in. And again, I want to say thank you so much to everybody who's been checking us out, following on social media, reposting. All of the love has been so great. Again, this has been such a journey to get here, and learning so much as time goes along, and trust and believe that things have been getting better and better and better as we've gotten through this week. Birdman coming tomorrow. Outdoor Memories. Outdoor Memories is a collection of inspirational, uplifting, and personal poems written by Birdman 313. This will touch, bring insight, and peace to one's heart. Birdman has been writing since elementary school. This will be his 13th poetry published book. This book is intended to be thought-provoking and reflective. It is a combination of poetry on various topics of love and life. You are challenged to find poems to which you can relate to. Poem is intimate while revealing the thoughts and intents of the poet's heart and soul. Life is an interesting journey. The world is as engaging as it is sometimes Life is an interesting journey. The world is as engaging as it is sometimes unforgiving. So now tomorrow, I have a feeling that we're going to get real deep, especially if we sample in some good wine. I have a feeling that Snoop Dogg wine is just going to take it over the top. And Birdman already is 100% the truth. He's been on, this will be about his third time coming on to the show. So I know we're going to go in And of course, we got the music and we always connect with those conversations. So, Reading Between the Wines tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, tag a friend, invite them in. Thank you so much to Raquel from O'Shea Candles, representing New Jersey. New Jersey, what's going on? Thank you so much to the newcomers and the people from Atlantic City, New Jersey. I appreciate you. And we will see you tomorrow. And on that note, I will see you when I see you. Have a good night, y'all. Take care. Thank you so much. SOS, I appreciate you. I don't know if you're still hanging out there. Onyx Blade, thank you so much for coming through last night. We had such a great time last night. Good night, y'all.